and to the old members that found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. This evening, I changed my title from what I originally had a couple minutes ago, and I actually modified it because of the panic that I'm seeing within the XRP community. I've seen a myriad of different people within the comments talk about how they're done with XRP, how after so many years, it's just not worth holding anymore. When you hold an asset for this long, it should be at so and so levels. And I've seen just every single thing you could imagine on why this token's a pile of you know what and why it's not worth holding. I've seen anywhere from the public perception of in my comment section to on social media to different YouTube stations to even on news media outlets on why XRP is a scam token, on why it's manipulated. And I did read something that I thought was fascinating, and I'll share it in this live. Something that I believe it was Jeremy Hogan said about XRP poor price performance being unnatural. So we're going to dive into that. And they oftentimes, and you know, he's a pro Ripple, or he's a pro lawyer. He's not a technically, but he's a pro Ripple lawyer. And it's just something they usually use the media to put things out. And it's almost like they're hinting at us like, you know, the price, it shouldn't even in these times, even with how throughout history at times XRP poorly performs, this isn't one of those times we should be performing like this, or the fact that something is coming here. I'm telling you, something big is coming, and I firmly believe, and I'm going to show you why I believe a massive rally is still on, and everybody always overreacts when it comes to, you know, the overall constituent when it comes to XRP, whether that's the XRP holder, the XRP enthusiast, the XRP army, the traders, you know, maybe the ones covering XRP, but everybody tends to overreact. And I can promise you right now, we have not even lost any of the structures yet. We've not lost any main pattern yet. In fact, being at the 535 level, we're still over the top, and it's astounding when we go look at this. We're still over the top of the descending triangle as a breakout and back testing all the way down so far to the 534 level if the daily closes here. 535 is still over the top of that formation from January of 2024. And anybody who's been following the journey yesterday, if you're new, just to catch you up, I'll show you the formation. Excuse me. I've been talking a lot the last few days on these channels, and sometimes my voice gets a little, you know, but we'll get past this. But the pattern from July of 2023, I believe, is firmly at play right now. And we have an uptrending support that we've hit a myriad of 4 different times now, and it seems to be holding. We came down to about 52.5 cents today. Remember, the 23.6% fib retracement level is roughly at the 52.1 cent mark. I don't use the Fibonacci, but it doesn't mean I don't stay informed on what each level is. Just so when I'm making a decision, I can have a more informed decision from the technical trading standpoint. Because I like to put what I have in against the technical trader. It helps me form a more logical conclusion. We all don't know everything, but if we pay attention to all the details, we will know more than we're supposed to. So I believe by the end of this, you're also going to realize that XRP's price performance is not what it should be right now. And the fact that XRP's price is going down and the volume is going down suggests that we are going to have a bullish reversal here sooner rather than later. And the fact that during this downturn, the volume is actually decreased by 68%. Yes, that's a significant downturn in volume on this recent 3 or 4 day hiatus to the downside. So I'm going to turn on comments in a minute. Please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this live. I don't know how many people will be here. It's a very red day. So on red days, I don't know if I should expect 60 people or if I should just expect an explosion just because people are looking to see exactly what's going to happen. Or, you know, typically these are days where people will stay away. So we'll see what happens here. But I do believe in this community. I believe you'll hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this video. And not even just to get new viewers, even the old viewers that maybe YouTube didn't recommend the video to them initially. By you hitting the like button, now it gets through the algorithm and an old viewer finds their new, their way home or a new viewer can come into here and see some truth. There's going to be a lot of charts shared here, so we might as well just get into it. Good evening, 6:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, February 23rd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It means a lot to me that, I don't know how many people are tuning in yet, but let's see. It means a lot to me that everybody does. Wow, 50 people in here, 48 likes. That's incredible. Okay, I should probably turn my phone on real quick. There is a lot of comments. So, as I take a deep breath, we will get through the comments real quick. As you all know, if you're new, if you're not, I do like to say hi to everybody before. I can't believe 50 people are here and all 50 hit the like button. That's a record. This is a record. That's an incredible show of support there. Thank you so much. Jan, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 2 years, love, with the 589 badge, the emoji badge. Oh, yes. I love it. Jan, I love when you're in the house. Love it. Nick Morales, welcome in. I'm never moving my XRP back to exchanges. If anything, I'm buying more and moving off exchanges. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. JW, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. I really appreciate that. Johnson, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 5 months with the XRP Meteor. Stephen Jackson, welcome in. If you invested due to... Yep. He says if you invested due to acknowledging the potential and capabilities of XRP and you believe in it, then hold it because you already know its truth worth. Don't cade or cede your position, hold the line. Exactly. Mark Caston, welcome in. UK Phil, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 months now with the XRP, with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News badge. I appreciate that. Derek Farrer, good afternoon to you, sir. Puentes, welcome in. Sam, good evening. Welcome in as always. I love seeing that name in chat. An older viewer as well. Not by age, but just a longer time viewer. White Lotus, welcome in. Mike Kazan, Tanya May, good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in, love. We'll go over H-Bar today, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. See, Zam, we are getting close. Yes, we can feel it when we get to these kind of feelings within the community. Local Beaver, welcome in. Cleo, good afternoon. John Hall, welcome in, and good evening, brother. Mark Kazan, I lost 28,000 on XRP. Not sure how, but I'm sure you'll explain it to me. 2028 to 30. I don't know how. You must not be part of this community. We bought XRP at 34 cents or 34 and a half. So, I don't know. If you want to explain it, you can. If not, he says 28, 20, 30. It's all about perspective, my friend, wherever you buy it, That's why we got to have a sound position with the XRP technical analysis. I can only speak from my own positions. XRP's been very kind to me since 21 and the community who's followed. Mo, welcome in, my friend. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for well over 5 months with the XRP Meteor. I would love to see more of what I see out of JM and Harvey Boy with their month 1 emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Oh, it's damn true, everybody in the audience. That's my face superimposed on that emoji badge. You too could have one if you join Tom's Army and show that extra support. Let's see. Or if you don't want to do that, consider sending 1 YouTube super chat per month to pay it forward for the exorbitant amount of time I put in. It does take up a lot of time, but there's nowhere I'd rather be. So it works out rather well that our audience is growing at the rate it is. Puentes, welcome in. Good evening, my friend. I think we're getting through this pretty good. Sean Crothers, my main man from Maine. Good evening to you, good sir. And thank you for still being a mod in this community. What's going to happen? Oh, we'll find out. I just think, we'll find out. We'll get into it. We'll progress into it as we go through the technical analysis, and you all will get a vibe of what I'm thinking. Craig MC, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for well over a year with the I Told You So badge. One of my favorites in the audience right now. Thank you for tuning in, Craig. Hopefully the weather is treating you somewhat well. CJ2 Pilot, good evening. Thank you for being in Tom's Army along with Private Driver for over 5 months with the XRP Meteor. Love seeing it in the crowd. Love seeing all these members of Tom's Army in the crowd. Mike got in at $1.35. Okay, so probably the cycle of 2021. So I wish you would have been here. In 2021, we bought in at 47 cents as a community. We Sold out at $1.66 after we got to all-time highs. It came back down, and I realized it wasn't getting past $1.70, and we knew, based on the formations that we had when we got rejected at 198, we should have got rid of it. But we had the hopium. Like I said, even I had hopium. So at $1.66 on the way down, I had to acknowledge, hey, it's the end of the ropes here, so I got rid of it, and I said I won't be buying back until it hits, and I showed and I told, and I proclamated where I would hit it, and I bought it back there at 34.6 cents roughly. Well, the first buyback, we had a quick swing trade, and it was the only one I was willing to do to build some capital because I wanted to buy some more assets. But I had kind of went overzealous on buying precious metals when we had the dip to 1,600 on gold and then like $16, $17 on silver in 22. So I spent a lot more of my crypto profits than I planned. So I had to make a quick spring trade. So we sold, truth be told, that's why I did it, at 28.6 cents, and we ended up selling at like 44 cents. And then I rebought in at 34.6 cents. Got to use those extra profits to buy the myriad of what we have now. But, you know, that's a testament to the community, but it's also a testament to somebody like you. If you stick around, I'm going to teach you how to build your portfolio down if you have the funds. You see, if you don't, it's going to be tricky because right now you're going to have to figure out a spot. It's at $1.33 where you bought. 53 cents would not be a bad spot to buy in a small percentage of it, and then every 20% or 15 or 10% down from here, you'd have to put the exact same amount of buy, and then it'll bring that average down, hopefully within time, to like 75, 80 cents, whether you have to do it on weekly or monthly buys. And then by the time it gets up to 75, 80 cents on this next big rally, you'll just be made whole instead of having to wait to $1.32. But that also depends on the capital that you have at your hands. If you don't have capital, then you kind of have to wait. And some people would sell out to try to buy back in cheaper. And do you know how many people have done that at this stage? And then it's got nowhere to go but up. So at some point, you're going to be made whole. 2028, you said, or 2030? Now, I don't think it's going to take that long to get to $1.33. It may not stay there, but it's not going to take that long to get to $1.33. We're going to have an episode here soon. And the price performance by XRP is not normal at this stage. The fact how little volume's coming in after a push up and you're still getting these formations. We talked about how it could be an M topping reversal. And if it was, what did we say? It would come down to this uptrending support. And if you're new, you wouldn't know what we said. But we talked about how it could come here. Now, if you've noticed on the RSI, I've inverted it. Because instead of it going to the overbought, now it's going to the oversold. And I have it inverted right now so that it's easier to see from the bottom. If we're starting to look at this, are we starting to now push in the other direction? And is it starting to break down, or is this where it's going to start to bounce back to the bottom? Because once you break past 50, it's almost like the bulls are giving way. But at the same time, we came back down to this uptrending support, and we're trying to hold here and have a reversal. So this came all the way down to this uptrending support approximately at 53.2 cents. Mike, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm not judging you by all means. Trust me, I've lost money. I've been down in things like you wouldn't believe. I've told stories a billion times of not even just crypto, just throughout the stock market where we all learn. But I've learned strategies that can kind of help, you know, navigate through something. Like right now, if I would have made a catastrophic mistake on my portfolio, all my money's tied up. I just bought my house. You know, we had to get a new vehicle for Julie. My son's starting school and he's developmentally delayed. So he's starting in special programs. So it's like, I don't have all this liquid capital to be spending everywhere. So this is like my make it or break it with crypto, with what I'm doing with my precious metals and stuff like that. Now, the cool thing about precious metals, remember, as long as you buy precious metals and you have the gold and silver, it may not seem like you have any money, but remember that $2,000 it might have cost you to buy now the value of it, an ounce of gold, or that 23 bucks per that silver token you see, that silver ounce, you know, or the silver round, the 1 ounce silver round you'll see in front of you, or the silver bar. Yeah, it might not be in your bank where you're taught and because you don't see it or cash on hand, but that money is still a savings. That's a store of value. It's the nicest store of value because you can't just go on and go to gamble something. Hey, I want to go to an online casino, or I want to gamble on some sporting event, or I want to gamble on some, I don't even know what you can gamble on now. But it's the easiest way to take away that temptation. So now, as the US dollar is being impeded by the government by printing more and more money, that gold and silver that you are storing as a store of value is now continuously to increase. So on a one-to-one basis, sure, gold's at $2,000 an ounce, but what can it buy you now with that $2,000 an ounce? In comparison to, let's say, that's in gold. So you can buy something priced in gold, you can go somewhere else. But now let's say you use the US dollar, and let's just say, you have an asset in the stock market, and we have a Venezuela type event. When all of a sudden the stock market, you've got, let's just say, for example, we're holding XRP, and in US dollars, it's priced at $3,000 per ounce, or per share or token. But the US dollar is rated at like 24 or 7 or 1 or negative, God forbid. Just like Venezuela, they've got stocks that are up to billions. But unless you have a gold bar or silver or something that's tied into that new system, which that's where we can get into XRP, unlike most cryptos, I believe XRP is going to be a new form store of value, not like in the traditional means. And this is where everybody gets it wrong. And this is why I believe a major rally is to come, especially the closer we get to 2025 and then ultimately 28. And when I say major rally, I don't think many in this room can fathom, because everybody's thinking, 1,000, 10,000, 5,000, 50,000. No, the rally I'm talking about is to get to that stablecoin price when you bought in at 35 cents and all of a sudden you wake up and you realize a couple months later or a year down the line, the price has gone from a Neanderthal amount to all of a sudden you're sitting at 25, 30, $50 a share or token, and you've got that stable price so that they can be the world reserve for the bank in a digital financial system. That's why for everybody, and let's get into this real quickly while I'm on this mode, that's why when everybody talks about they want them to burn, and everybody got excited with David Schwartz a few days ago, you don't want them to burn all those tokens. If you lose all that capital, what exactly are we investing in? To me, we're investing in a new digital system. We want to be the world reserve currency for the bank. So it's kind of like the US dollar, how they just print more into existence. The US now in the banking systems and around the world would have the collateral of, let's say, XRP with the 99.9 billion tokens, right? So that collateral would then allow you to cook the books basically in the banks, make it look more full. So I have a lot of theories on what's about to happen here. And our community, not just me, but everybody who followed along, our community was kind of ridiculed because we believed XRP was a stable coin. And I put out a video about a year and a half ago. I got about 6,000 views. If you go to my popular videos, you'll see it. And I show how it's the basket for all of crypto. And I showed a scenario how you would have to buy XRP. You could send it to X, Y, and Z, but maybe Z has algo. Well, algo would have to send it back, exchange it for XRP to sell it out into their native currency, because it's adaptable to each and every fiat, no matter which market it's in. And in the new system, it's a big deal. So then maybe that's how you would do it with the liquidity of 99.4 billion tokens. You'd be able to have an ever-funding stablecoin. But the price would have to be much higher than it is now. Like, you wouldn't just price out at 35 cents. You're talking $35, $50 a token, maybe 100. I've never been opposed to the $100 level per token. And all of a sudden, let's say you have $10,000 in algo. Well, if it's $100 a token, we know you have to move 100 tokens. It's not so bad. So when you have 99.4 billion tokens, you've got some room here. So that could be a great way. That's what I'm thinking. So, but that's always been my personal belief. And there's many reasons why I'm investing it, but that's a reason why it gives me hope that is what I think is going to happen. So you see this? If this plays out true, this could be the start of something, and then we'd want it to kind of do something like that. I'm looking for something like this to see if we can hold this retest. Nothing bad has happened yet, as we talked in the open. This is July of 2023 formation. Real quickly, for anybody new, I know I've dragged on for 19 minutes now. 68 people here, 68 likes. You cannot ask for a better crowd than that. And I know not as many people are going to watch today because why sometimes, and it's so weird in cryptocurrency or in anything in general, a lot of people are looking for the right time to buy. They're looking for the right price action. They're looking to have the reasons why when it moves forward, why this happened. How could I have missed this? It's these moments. Look how it looks like it's just a lackadaisical day. But in reality, we've talked about this exact move. We talked about this exact move. Even if it were to be bullish and it did a correction and it did this and it used this to make the W, we talked about this a week ago before they started coming down because it started to make what looked like could be an M. And we said, well, what if it does something like that? And then you have a big W that forms and then it just comes up to the next level and then it finishes out. Remember that scenario? And now it's doing this. So if it breaks down, it's coming back into this descending triangle from January of 2024 is my point here. This is the formation we talked about in the open that led the way. January of 2024. It looks like from what's happening here, it's almost forming what one could say. Remember we said if it's a bull flag. So we'll just see here. It's overextended, but it's coming down to correction here. And if it holds that formation, which I'm already saying, like, yes, that's an important formation. But remember what we said. Now that it carried on that long without a big correction to the downside, now we can start to say, all right, are we starting to look at the July of 2024 or July of 2023 formation right here as the overriding factor here now? Because as we talked about yesterday, and now it's come down, we talked about it coming down to that uptrending support. And if it holds for the fourth time, now it could start to move back up. And even if it's bearish, the resistance would be up here at about 58 cents. We've now come down to this uptrending support. If it breaks this, the reason why I think this is the pattern you should look at, because the other one suggests it could come all the way down to immediately. If you look at the January pattern from 24, it's suggesting an immediate drop to like 47 cents. There's nothing in between. But what I'm saying is because of how we've moved within the other formation now from July of 23, we now have to give credence to the fact that, hey, we're going to have a barrier here real quick, and it won't just be 47 cents. Maybe it would come down to 494 here and tap that support. So we'd have to, be careful here. And this is just part of the natural ebb and flows here. That's the crazy thing. It's the crazy thing. If this happens, and that's what I'm alluding to in the open, if this happens, most people are going to bail before the truth is even seen. Legitimately. How can everybody's going to bail before the truth? It's all going to come out here eventually. If that happens, let's just say it broke this. So it comes down here. That's the all-time formation. Or not the all-time formation. That's, let's see. Is that 38? No. That's the in-between. The all-time formation, if worst case scenario, if we converge, this is the all-time formation. So you'd come down here. 38 cents. Most people would be gone. Most people would be gone out of XRP. And I'd be like, how? That's the all-time formation converging. The end of this pattern formation is December of 24. So at least, 35 to 45 cents could be the lows. I mean, honestly, it could be. Like if we have a scenario where we break down, but we've got a lot to go through before then. We've got a lot to get through before then. We're not just going to get down there. Everybody just thinks we're going to just fall down in one motion. I'm still going to tell everybody, don't be naive to the fact, and I'll put this in the daily time frame just so everybody can see this a little clearer. Don't be naive to the fact that when we came down here right now, that are we really being naive to the fact? We know what a W reversal looks like. We know what a bullish Gartley looks like. We know what a retest of the neckline looks like. So are we really going to overreact here and say, and not to mention, it's on the pattern breakout from January of 24 and back testing it as support finally for the first time in almost 3 months. And if that's not bad enough, if you're going to go short, or if you think, hey, this is the worst thing in the world and XRP's pattern is doing anything more than it should right now by back testing, which I don't know for anybody who's been in the community for any length of time, when have you known me not to talk about the back test? So I've never felt more alive with the background, or felt like the background fit into the moment we're in right now than the stormy raining and that behind me. Because that's what's going on in the market. They're throwing every optic possible at everybody, and everybody's missing the truth. The truth is, we're back testing a breakout of the descending triangle from January of 2024. The truth is, we have a bullish Gartley reversal here, which looks like it's building a bull flag and a neckline retest that just happens to be at the descending triangle formation. But we also are seemingly avoiding, for some reason, and this will be the third candle close just now. On the downturn, we started off with 19 million in volume. Then we went down and had 15, went down more and had 12.96. At what point do we realize this volume's decreasing as the price action's going down? That's a sign of a bullish reversal once this gets done. There's no volume much to speak of on this reversal. And it's continuously going down. So what's actually going on here? It's just and the volume portfolio is down 68% in the recent downturn in the past 4 days, roughly. A 68% decrease in volume. So what exactly is going on? Are we actually breaking down, or are we actually doing a natural retest here and trying to confirm a breakout and trying to confirm the fact we're trying to reverse a death cross? That's what it looks like to me. We can't count our sheep before they run. Well, let's not get there. But we just can't, we can't count the eggs before they hatch. Let's put it that way. You don't know what's going to come to fruition. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. We're actually in a natural retest spot here. So what do we think? What does everybody think? Am I crazy? I know I've talked for 26 minutes, and how's there 104 people? When I started talking, there were 60. Well, at least you guys like what I'm saying. If you somehow come into here, yeah, JW, I stopped myself. Thank you for being in here, JW. I stopped myself from being a naughty, naughty Tom. You know, I can't speak bad. So, but SD, if you ever ask somebody to give you XRP, you're in the wrong game, my friend. No one's going to give you anything. You know why? Because it's worth earning. You'll appreciate it if you earn it. If I just hand you it, or if anybody hands you it, maybe start a station, and then maybe somebody won't give you XRP, but they'll donate you XRP for the time if you're giving them good information, or maybe you're helping them, or maybe from starting a channel, if you have knowledge to give, maybe you can earn just enough in ad revenue even if you do a nice dedicated job to where you can start building together a portfolio, and then one day it turns from rags to riches kind of thing. Not saying that you don't have any money, but I've never seen somebody in a good spot that would just go on a channel and just say, will you give me XRP? That's beneath most. Be respectful. But I say, will you give me XRP? You know, you don't want to do that. So, and if we break out from here, if we take away all the optics of, hey, we got to go to the July of 2023 pattern, and we just say this is just what's going on, the next major resistance is up here at 66.6 cents. It's up at 66.6 cents. That's the rising channel resistance from June of 2022. And that's where I think a lot of people are going to get caught off guard. Not me, SD. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I caught in the conversation. I thought he was talking to me. Well, let's see. If it does rally off here, we're at the pivot point as well. We're looking at a 25% rally to get up here. We've already come up, even from where we're at, and this was supposed to be somewhat of a 20% move. It hasn't materialized into even that. It's only been, well, from where it's at, it's 10.2%. But it went up about, maybe it did get up there that far. Okay, well, maybe it did at 20% on the initial rally, but there's still supposed to be a 25% continuation that leads to that 40 to 45% overall move. And that was supposed to be had from this formation here. So we've only moved not even half the amount that I thought we would. So for that reason, and the way that we're back testing and all of that, I have no reason but to remain bullish here. Not saying we can't go farther down, but as of right now, XRP's taking the jabs. It's taking it right now. We have not given this descending triangle. Look how many days it's been. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, let me put the arrow on. So it broke up 1, correction, didn't concede, stayed over in the daily for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in the last 4 days on red candles, or 3 days, and now a 4th day, it's starting. We have not given it up any more than a wick. So until this tells me it's coming through here, it still doesn't seem like it wants to give it up. It doesn't seem like it wants to give it up. If it gives it up, we know the targets. Sure, it could sweep 52 cents because that's the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement zone. I get that. I get that. But just like it sweeped here at 52.5, that's close enough. But it also came up as a wick. So it started to tempt us as a hammer candle here, even though it was bearish still. It almost looks like we were trying to form a hammer candle. It just didn't come up far enough. So now we're kind of caught in a weird spot. More of the body is forming at the top. We're not getting any, the pressure on the bottom is wicks. We've got more body to the top side, which means it keeps pulling up into a pressure zone. So we'll see. Unless I see some significant volume drop out here from the bottom, I'm not convinced that we're doing anything other than a retracement yet. Now, we can see, obviously, and this is why I always proceed with caution, you could see how one could say that that might be a right arm and then it pulls down. But I say if it's a right arm, wouldn't it be better off like something like that? Or it's just building. How about this? Right? The slope is getting smaller. It's starting to, right? You're going to form a, and then eventually it would be like right here probably. But you're going to end up forming that kind of a formation before we go out much farther. So that's something to watch in the future. Like, I'm telling you, this pattern could shift into something here. And then we're going to be talking about, well, Tom, you know, it came up here. Now, if it got rejected at 66.6, couldn't we kind of say, hey, well, Tom, isn't that kind of like, hey, we're kind of trying to... Well, that's something to be talked about if we come back up there and get rejected. But right now, the majority of people are bailing before we can even get to that discussion, and it's kind of discouraging. I want to get to that discussion because I know we're going to get there eventually. And I don't want people to get talked out or emotionally get detached from what they're doing. Like if we're breaking out of a descending formation here, we have to backtest it. To think we're not going to backtest this like this was naive. We put it out here days ago. If you're new, you wouldn't see this, so disregard this part. But if you're watching, you should know this. We talked about this. I drew this pattern out freehand before this ever materialized, and now we're just 2 weeks later. Back then, I looked like a dope. Now I still look like a dope because everybody says it's not going to 666, but it's part of the progression. To some people, I look cool because I called it from here, and then it comes here, and then it's in the waiting zone. I love the waiting zone because then I look like a dope. And then I can see how I react to the criticism. And so far during Lent, I've been acting very nicely. So, but if you're watching, please make sure to hit that like button, please. We rejected off the daily FVG on the weekly. Yep. So, let's see what happens. Everything says it should go down. The death cross, the weekly rejection on the okay, like Nick said, a lot of reasons why we should go down. Blood's in the water. I become more who I start to feel more like myself when I see red. That's when I really turn up my game, especially from a trading standpoint and also from a visual standpoint. Like we're looking at Bitcoin, 50,735. Everybody's heads popping off their heads, popping off their necks. You know, some have lost their shorts, lost their socks. They're about to lose their top hat and their backpack now. Because now, just when they thought there was no other choice, now they're going to say, oh, Bitcoin's falling off a cliff, right? Well, if you diagnose the pattern, we were in a broadening wedge, which many really believed we were in a bull flag. And I know because I kept the pattern out to show everybody what everybody was talking about when it was in a bull flag. Well, we went from this and we materialized. And I kept the resistance points up because they were important. And now we've hit the top resistance so far. Doesn't mean it's the end point. But we quickly realized that Bitcoin, and it's important for XRP, flipped into a broadening wedge. So support, support, resistance, resistance 2 times in each. So it's good. We created this uptrending support now on the way up to resistance, also better known as an ascending triangle within this broadening wedge. That's going to tell us it's not that the pattern changed from a broadening wedge. The full scale pattern is still a broadening wedge. But the reason why it changed into an ascending formation is this will tell us when we come down here, if we hit this uptrending support, and it could be anywhere. It could be at 50,000, 52,000 if it was way out here. It's trending down in this direction, so we'll time it somewhere around, maybe around 50,000, 49.8, unless it drops real quick. Then we could say maybe around 48.6. This is going to tell us if Bitcoin is still bullish. And let me tell you, the fact that created this formation out of this broadening wedge, and we have this little cup, that now if it does this, you have a nice handle, and if it comes up, even at worst, you're coming up to like 55K area if this plays out, ba-boom, ba-boom. Even if it's bearish, do, right? So, and it's already done this, look. Do, and now it's almost like, instead of coming all the way down here, because that's what you'd expect, right? But now you just have to be aware. We've hit boom, support, boom, support. Now if it comes down again in the daily, boom, support, confirms the ascending support. Just waiting for the breakout now. That's what we're looking at. It's so if you put the pattern in front of us, we can at least diagnose it. So that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. And now I want to go into this. And if you do appreciate what I'm doing, consider joining Tom's Army. It helps to fund this the show. It helps me continue to make the improvements I need to. Since I don't do paid promotions, advertisements, or sponsorships, I like to just give a free product. Or consider sending one YouTube super chat per month. It would be greatly appreciated, as it does help me continue to fund this and helps me to do this at the rate that I do it, because I do take up an enormous amount of my time. But I think it's truly worth it for the ones who actually are using it to their advantage. So let's see what exactly is going on here. So XRP Army Bank on a massive bull run as pro-Ripple lawyer calls XRP's poor price performance unnatural. Over the past 3 years, XRP's price performance has been disappointing, raising concerns among investors and experts. This lackluster price performance is particularly noteworthy given the broader crypto market's recent upswing, when larger cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum experience significant growth. This unfavorable performance has led market participants to scrutinize the factors behind XRP struggles. A recent discussion on the X platform highlighted the growing frustration among XRP investors, with one enthusiast highlighting the cryptocurrency's 3-year consolidation phase. Actually, it's a 6-year consolidation phase, and that's what a lot of people are missing. This is not a 3-year consolidation. We've been consolidating, and it's why I continue to show the charts since January. And if you're watching and you're new, I'm going to show you right now. It's not a 3-year consolidation. Everybody keeps saying that, and it almost is an insult, because give XRP its due process here. Because that consolidation, you have to be accurate with. Otherwise, you're not going to get the proper historical relevance or understanding. This was all-time highs. January of 2018. Took 27 months to come down here to March of 2020, where this uptrend started, and I'll show you after. Then we went from here after a 27-month journey to resistance, where they're saying the 3-year consolidation is starting. False. Resistance 2018. Support March of 2020. So support January 28, or resistance 2018 January, all-time highs. 27-month convergence to support. It took 27 months to find the floor at just over 10 cents in March of 2020. Then we had a bear market rally. This has already been a 3-year consolidation now. It's confirming the consolidation on the rejection. We get rejected. Now we come back down here. Where's this at? 2022 and 2023. And this was right here where I'm circling right now. That's where the lawsuit was announced. And it still bounced off of that from December 2020 and up. So now we've consolidated. Even if it's bearish, I believe that we would have to hit up here, and it depends where we hit. Right now I'm estimating that third hit on that downtrending resistance would be 75 cents. Or it breaks out finally and then it comes up and retests the $1.97 from this failed market. Because when you fail the bear market, now you're going to have to successfully hold it. So what could be happening here, and we won't know yet, but remember all those cup and handles we've been seeing through the grand scale? Just hear me out. If you look at it from a farther perspective, is it possible if we rotate that we're in the future building, and God only knows if this is what's going to happen, but possibly that's how we do it. Now, we don't know when that's going to happen. Could that same pattern materialize and it takes a little bit longer, and XRP is just being the stubborn you know what that it always is, and it always likes to be the last to react? Could this be what's playing out in the grand scale? Even if it takes till December, is it possible that's what we're trying to do? I would love to hear everybody's anticipation or determination here, because boom, boom. Now, unless it just fails and it just keeps doing that, but eventually the hook's going to come. The hook's going to come. And if it comes like this, you could have the biggest W reversal that I've ever seen. Now, if it stays here, imagine you look at that from a bigger grand scale. You know, there's a lot of speculation if you go from the entirety of the pattern. Now look at it this way. Look at it this way. You think that cup's big? What if it's working on an all-time cup? I know, crazy, right? What if it's working on an all-time cup from the all-time highs? What if it takes a very long time and eventually it ends up being a big cup? I know it's more feasible like this, but what if it really is that's failed and it comes around? We've all seen this. First layer, bullish handle, bounces out. It could be the biggest W we've ever seen. That's why I love that there's a lot of potential, you know, but we also can't get ahead of ourselves. Sometimes I'll go through that line just so people can see. Sure, we can talk the bearish game all day long, but I'm starting to like talking the bullish game a little bit more, just because we already talked the bearish game long enough for years when we had to. Now it's time to have some optimism, but you got to buy at the right times and do what, you know, what seems right. You can't just give up, is the bottom line. So a lot of people will leave when we start talking like that, but honestly, what you need to see. It's what you need to see. So after this, I'll go into H-bar, and then after that, we'll see how much longer we have to go in this live because my voice is a little dry. Done a lot of work, and you know, sometimes it's hard to talk. Let's see. Hey, Tom, I hope this message finds you well. Do you think we're on the right shoulder in the short? That's what we were talking about. That's what we talked about while I was doing that whole big breakdown, Joshua, that if it is a right shoulder, you could come down to 38 cents, possibly. And that would retest the overall pattern formation. So that's definitely a possibility. No, you're fine, Josh. No, you're fine. That's definitely a possibility, though. That's why we look at this level from January 24 and see if this is going to confirm this breakout, because I think for this right shoulder to push down, wouldn't it just be the perfect storm if it did come up to that rising channel resistance, confirm it again at 66.6 cents, and then if that head and shoulders plays out, it would make perfect sense to come all the way down through that structure of the rising channel and correct all the way down to 38 cents and see what's going on. We'll make a major decision at 66 cents if it comes up there at what's about to happen. But I agree with you that we have to do some work to get out of that formation, because right now it is. It is. XRP Army Bank on a massive bull run as pro-Ripple lawyer calls XRP's price performance unnatural. So over the past 3 years, XRP's price performance has been disappointing, raising concerns among investors and experts. This lackluster price performance is particularly noteworthy given the broader crypto market's recent upswing. We talked about this, yada, yada, yada. I read this just before. We got to the 3-year consolidation. So despite the frustration, the individual remained optimistic, asserting, but I believe the breakout can be massive, receiving support from well-known Ripple advocate Bill Hogan. However, and other investors shared a chart comparison XRP's performance to that of other top cryptocurrencies, revealing that XRP had dropped by 17.8% in the past 90 days, while Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Binance Coin had gained over 25 cents. Bill Hogan said this. Hogan acknowledged the poor performance, stating, "At least XRP isn't last. The question is, why has the performance over the 90 days been so poor? It is unnatural." Hogan has previously addressed rumors that Ripple's continued sale of XRP to fund operations is contributing to the coin's poor performance. He recently pointed out the inconsistency in criticizing Ripple for gradually selling its XRP holdings while being supportive of Wall Street's Bitcoin accumulation. Meanwhile, the XRP army has been looking for solutions to boost XRP's price, with some suggesting the implementation of hooks, a feature that would provide smart contract capabilities to the XRP ledger, XRPL. This would enable decentralized data sourcing, potentially unlocking XRPL's full potential and boosting the price of XRP. However, others have expressed dissatisfaction with XRP's poor tokenomics and have suggested diversifying their holdings into other cryptocurrencies. I'm guessing that many XRP holders are smart enough to diversify into the others, especially Bitcoin, which when it rises, it lifts the other boats. The tokenomics of XRP are terrible when compared to many other in the top 50. Diversify those XRP bags, one XRP investor wrote. The public perception, like I said, they're swaying. You want investor confidence and the public perception to be negative. You ever hear this whole saying, go against the grain? They go left, we go right. The masses go left. Even if it's just one, we're going the other way. It's no different than 21. Everybody thinks we're going somewhere, we're not. But we're going somewhere nobody thinks we are. And when we get to where we're about to go and where we're finalizing everything, to say, well, what the ongoing lawsuit between the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple and the uncertainty surrounding its outcome have also negatively impacted XRP's price. Despite Ripple's significant victory when Judge Annalisa Torres declared XRP a non-security, the coin's price has remained subdued, dropping approximately 44%. See, now that's the fund that's already around it. XRP has not been ruled a non-security yet for retail, but that doesn't mean anything. Institutional investors still have to jump through hoops and not buy it the unnatural way that they've come accustomed to that moves large amounts of money. What we can't see, what we don't want to know, needs to happen. All this red tape is getting in the way. Since July 13, 2023, ruling additionally the possibility of an appeal by the SEC, if a settlement is not reached, has added to the pressure on the XRP price. At the time of writing, XRP was trading at 53 cents, representing a 1.59% decrease over the past 24 hours, according to CoinMarketCap. So that's just some stuff to consider, too, with XRP. And for anybody who stuck around, because I know that's not interesting, once I start talking stuff outside of XRP, most people will start leaving. But before I leave, I want to go over this real quickly. On HBAR, I want to go over a couple different things. Now that we've knocked down some barriers, we're going to take off a lot of this noise here. Now that we knock down some sections, I'm going to clear off some noise here. We're going to take an honest look at what we're seeing here. We know we're in a cup and handle formation. The handle just formed and broke, so I'm going to keep that there. We know that rising channel was important from farther in the pattern, but now we have to see exactly what we were dealing with on the breakout. And I think the best way to do it is just to I don't necessarily know if I like that or if I want to go a little bit farther in the pattern. I think I'm going to keep it with that so that we can go farther out. But we have to at least see an accurate depiction, at least I do, to see what we were dealing with on the breakout. So now, we already know we've, for the most part, matched that move. But now, if we come back down, we know that that would be an area, but that was a perfect formation on the handle. And now, if I'm starting to play this out, we know we have to get past this area. So to me, when we start moving back up 13.2, we talked about on that uptrend, it would be the first area that we could possibly hold, would be possibly an uptrending support hit if we came back down into the formation. So let's just pay attention here with H-bar, but it's looking to back test this. And if it can hold that first test, 10.25, or if it starts climbing up this, which is still fine, this would be remaking a new uptrending support area, and you could ride this all the way up. So let's watch to see how this plays out. It's been a nice cup and handle here. It's formed successful handle. And now the next layer I think is going to be around the 13.2 mark. We're going to talk more about this, but my voice is cracking. So I'll have to save that for a further detailed look for another time. So just look for that over the weekend. Just see if we were to consolidate, we could come into that range. So what I'm expecting for XRP is what we talked about in the open. I'm expecting to watch this consolidation play out over the weekend. We have a thinly traded weekend. Is this going to be an M topping reversal and it forces the pattern to go deeper? Or is this the start of a W reversal that is maybe not keen by the eye at first, but this bullish Gartley here that could be playing out, and this is the retest of the neckline. And if it is, that's going to open the door to first layer 58.4 cents roughly, and then ultimately 66.6 cents on a rising channel retest. And then if we got rejected there, I ultimately think it would bring us down to that 38 cent area, which is the ultimate pattern formation. And it could be the 2023 retest if that's how it played out. Maybe that's how we do finally break this rising channel and then come down to the true support. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. So, with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in for about 50 minutes. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you appreciate what I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you are watching, look in the video description below. Take advantage of MEXC. They have no spot fees on the buy and sell. If you're from the USA, you'll have to use a VPN if you're not a new, or if you're a new user. Old users can still log on and do what they need to do. Or go to PHEMEX and or BITUNIX, which is in the video description below. If you do appreciate the time I put in, consider sending one YouTube super chat per month or joining Tom's Army and getting one of those emoji badges. But please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this video and it'll allow more people to come into this audience, as we're over 20,200 subscribers. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you appreciate the content. And I can't thank each and every one of you enough. The gratitude that I would want to show you is impossible. The only thing I can do is maintain my dedication, come here each and every day, no matter what, and not spread FUD, and only show you what I think to be the truth as far as the charts and the news alike that can help us build an accurate depiction of what's about to happen. Thank you all. Have a blessed weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Normal schedule. Crypto doesn't sleep. Neither do I.